Hey guys, this is your boy Sweet Sauce back with another video. I want to establish like the the perks and the comparison between shadows and being an immortal. Uh, let's just get right into it. First off, let's go over the benefits of being an immortal first. Benefits of immortals. Number 1, you get 9 daily goals that yield both experience and items with chance of being legendary. Plus, you get materials and contribution and prestige as being an immortal. That's number 1. And what that generally means is when you're an immortal, you get 9 daily goals, which you're gonna go do. It's like sometimes it's 3 dungeons, sometimes it's go collect something or whatever. And when you do those 9 daily goals, they give you experience. They give you item chance of being a legendary. You can get legendaries doing the 9 daily goals. You get materials, contribution, and prestige. Defend the vault activity yields 700 hilts. You get 7 hilts a week, and you get 15 battle points per defense, which generally means the hilts every time you do the defend the vault. You get a hilt from completing it. Sometimes you get 10, sometimes you get 15. I've gotten a 20 hilt just doing one defend. Let's also put it that you have a shorter cooldown on vault as an immortal. I think it's like 2 minute cooldown, I believe. Yeah, it's 2 minute cooldown. 2 minute cooldown. You also get a Corvius expedition, which can give you up to 12 aspirant keys. And the aspirant keys, or when you do the Corvius expedition, the aspirant keys are for when you do the Ibn run. You get higher keys in order to open up more things to upgrade your gems inside that Ibn's place. You also get Kion's Raid that provides 1 legendary crest that is free and 1 free legendary each time you do the raid. And you also get another legendary based on RNG after the raid. So what that really means is, like, once you do the raid, you're going to go to the 4 bosses. You got 1 on the top, you got 1 on the bottom, 1 on the left, and 1 on the right. And you'll split up your groups to evenly DPS, because you want to evenly DPS the Kion's raid. But after all the 4 bosses are dead, they provide you 1 legendary crest that is free. And you get 1 free legendary when you open up the chest. And then you go to the center of the map on Kion's raid, and then you have these circles, and you can also get another legendary based on RNG. It's not based on who sets in the circle the most or whatever, but it is based on RNG. It's after the raid as well. So that's generally all Kion's raid. It's really fun though. I really enjoyed Kion's raid the whole time I was at Immortal. Number 6, let's go with cosmetics. The cosmetics are pretty cool. They're pretty cool. I like the cosmetics. You get like 2 cosmetics and you get immortal wings. So you get 2 new cosmetics sets as an immortal and immortal wing, or cloak as they call it. Actually, they call it cloak, but it's basically wings and it has a cloak at the same time. You get weekly rewards that grow substantially based on your contribution. And prestige, as well as 10% more each day. Loyalty is the daily buff. So every time you log in and you do your 9 daily goals, you also get a loyalty buff, which also gives you 10% more contribution and prestige. And the weekly rewards is like when you defend the vault, you get more contribution. So make sure you're doing defending the vault and you're doing your 9 daily goals. Make sure you're participating in Corvius Expedition, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then Kion's Raid, which you guys should really participate in. That provides a lot of free legendaries. So easy to get your gear that way and get upgrades. You can get free upgrades basically just participating with your clanmates. So you also get you also get a weekly rewards. Each week it increases. And then number 8, let's go with lieutenants. Lieutenants get a 30-minute cooldown that is fun to use when grouping with other immortals. And what that generally means is that lieutenants or the immortal, the person that is the immortal reign, you get a 30-minute cooldown on a lieutenant that buffs everybody in your party. Or when you're defending the vault, lieutenants can go in there and pop their 30-minute cooldown, which gives a bunch of benefits to all of their immortals when they're grouping with them. It does not work with shadows, so it's pretty fun. It's a good buff. It's really nice for when you're doing defending the vaults. Number 9, let's go with selection of items from the vault can allow you to target upgrades for your character up to 3 times based on contribution and prestige. Yeah, so what that means is, like, if you go to strategies and you look up the vault selections, you guys can target up to 3 upgrades per week based on per week. Let's just clarify that, because it is per week. Per week it upgrades, and you can get up to 3 big upgrades per week on each selection that you choose from the vault. Because when you stop the shadows from stealing from the vault, you can keep your upgrades, and you can get up to 3 upgrades at the end of the week. It's gonna be on a Monday. On a Monday, you get to get your 3 selections that you choose based on your contribution in prestige per week. So it's really grindy. Rights of exile defense, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier because let's actually clarify this. Rights defense, shadows must win 5 battlegrounds to take over the immortals. But it's a big. Shadows must win 5 battlegrounds to take over the immortals, in order to dethrone the immortals when you do Rights of Exile. It's clans, 3 clans versus 5, and what you're trying to basically do is try to make the shadows not win a single battleground, and you have to do this every week. This is weekly defend. This is weekly defend the immortals. Let's just do that. They must win 5 battlegrounds. Number 11, let's do Hilts Bender. This is huge for a bunch of people. You get an extra daily crest, weekly legendary as being an immortal, monthly legendary crest. All right, so basically you want to do your 9 daily goals, and that gives you a chance of having a legendary. It gives you materials, contribution, and prestige, and it gains you a bunch of experience. Defend all vault activity gives you 700 hilts a week, and you get 15 battle points per defense, which means every time you're doing it after your 2-minute cooldown, you get so you do a defense, you get hilts from it, you get battle points. You get 15 battle points, you get a 2-minute cooldown, and then you're going to turn around and do it again and again and again after your 2-minute cooldown every time you do it. You want to make sure you're doing your Covius Expedition, which can give you up to 12 aspirant keys. Make sure you're doing Kion's Raid, which gives you 1 legendary crest that is free, 1 free legendary, 1 free legendary each time you do the raid. You also get another legendary based on RNG after the raid. You get new cosmetics, weekly rewards. Lieutenants get a 30-minute cooldown that is fun to use when grouping with other immortals. Selection of items from Vault can allow you to target upgrades for your character up to 3 times based on contribution and prestige per week. Rite of Exile defense. Shadows must win 5 battlegrounds to take over the immortals. This is a weekly defend for the immortals. And then the Hilts Bender gives you an extra daily crest, an extra weekly legendary, and an extra monthly legendary crest. That's the benefits of being an immortal. Let's go over the benefits of being Shadow. Okay, 1. Contracts. 3 initially. And then 1 additional. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Additional each day yields EXP, items, and mats. So when you're a shadow, you basically want to do your 3 contracts, and then you get 1 additional each day. So you're basically doing like up to 4 contracts that give you EXP, items, and mats. You do have a chance of getting a legendary as well. You do have a chance of getting a legendary item. I've gotten a couple of them. Attack Immortal Bolts provides hilts, gold, legendaries, which the legendaries has a cap on how much legendaries you can actually take from the vault. Oh my gosh, I can't type today. So make sure you're doing Attack the Bolt, because it gives you hilts, golds, and you have a legendary cap, so you can take a couple of legendaries, but you want to basically make sure that you just do it all the time. It gives you a lot, man. It's really nice. Assembly. provides decent EXP and some Esperant keys. 4. Path of Blood provides 10,000 hilts, completing all 100 floors. Doesn't go beyond that. So when you're a shadow, I recommend you doing Attack the Vaults, Assembly, and doing Path of Blood. Make sure you do all 100 floors, then you get 10,000 hilts. Shadow Wars, Rites of Exile Attacker. It's kind of the same thing we just went over with when the Rite of Exile defense with the Immortals. So Shadow Wars is a little different. Shadow Wars, you're basically fighting another shadow, trying to become the... They have a bracket with the Shadow Wars. You're trying to beat every single shadow to get to the final, and then you're gonna duke it out with the top 2 clans in your shadow. And then you're gonna attack the Immortals. You're gonna have like a little death match, 4v4s, but it's like a free-for-all, but without your group. So it's like a couple different clans, and you're going to basically duke it out, and whoever comes out on top becomes the Immortals. So that's basically what that buff that scales higher versus mortals. And generally what that means is that the shadows get a better buff than the Immortals. Because when you first start your shadow clan and you try to rank up, the higher your clan goes, the stronger you guys get against Immortals. And Immortals do not have a buff against shadows. So, I mean, by time shadows have, 1-2 weeks done, I would already say that shadows are automatically stronger than the Immortals. So, I mean, the Immortal reign doesn't last forever. Unless they're just straight pay to win whales. But I think the shadow buff versus the Immortals is beyond broken. I think it's good that they did that. Alright, let's go over the comparison between the two. 1, Immortal daily goals allow much more interrogation between members, incentivizing them to grow up and run different dungeons with an additional rewards. Shadows typically just farm one dungeon. Shadows typically farm one dungeon because that is what they need from contracts. So dungeon diversity is a plus for an Immortal. Total of 63 daily goals for the Immortals versus 9 for Shadows. So typically what this means is that total the Immortals get 63 daily goals, and then Shadows only get 9 daily goals. And then the shadows only typically need to farm one dungeon because of the contract. You can pick the dungeon or the solo contract. I think it's kind of good. I think it's kind of crazy that immortals get kind of like they have to run different dungeons because it's a daily goal. So they're getting more dungeon diversity than Shadow would. Shadow just picks a dungeon contract, go do a couple quests, and then it tells you to run Mad King's Breach or something. But that's number one of why I think Immortal's better than the Shadow. We'll just leave it off right there. Number two, Vault. Originally was better for the Shadows when NPCs controlled the Vault. Now that Immortals control the Vault, it is much harder to obtain rewards from the Vault. As a Shadow, due to the strength of the Immortals, but rewards are decent. I believe vaults are enjoyable from both factions, except the entry level, for, or as an immortal, I should say, and power gap as Shadow. So generally, when you were a Shadow, when NPCs controlled the Vault, it was a lot easier. Now Immortals control the Vault, it's much harder to obtain rewards from the Vault. As a Shadow, you have the strength of the Immortals. The rewards are decent. I believe vaults are enjoyable from both factions, except the entry as an Immortal and power gap as a Shadow. The entry level of Immortal is ridiculous. They really 100% need to change the. They 100% need to change the entry way of Immortal doing a vault. It's not that fun to just sit there and spam enter for 4 hours of your day, because it's 2 hours you're sitting there spamming enter trying to defend the vault from the Shadows. And then there's a power gap as a Shadow. I don't know. I think there is a big power gap after like 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I would have to say that Shadows just become too strong. There is a big power gap after a couple of weeks. But that's generally it for the Vault situation. Shadows do not gain access to the Kion's raid, and is one of the only few methods of free-to-play players to obtain legendary crests, as well as another avenue for potential upgrades. So, generally, as a Shadow, you don't get a Kion's raid, which you can get up to a free legendary crest. You can get a free legendary, and then you have a chance of getting a legendary based on RNG, which is just a bunch of potential upgrades. You also don't get you don't get a lot of stuff as a Shadow. I think if you're an Immortal and you're a free-to-play player, it's a lot easier for you to get ahead of the Shadows player. I think that needs to change for real. I think Shadow should get a new event or something as only Shadow can do it. But we'll go on to the next one. Shadows do not get weekly rewards that grow like the Immortals. That grows larger the longer they reign. Now, generally, this just means they don't get weekly rewards from defending the vault, which gives 3 upgrades of a legendary. So you're missing out on 3 legendaries as a Shadow, and the Immortals. When you defend the vault and then you come back next week, the Paragon is a lot higher. So you can. I think I quit doing it after we reached Paragon 105 gear in the vault. So Paragon 105 gear in the vault, and it just grows and grows and grows the longer they reign. And Shadows do not get that capability, so Mortals just get that big power boost, and the more they get Paragon up, and the more they just keep on advancing and longer they reign. I hope that changes as well. Pretty much Shadows are just not getting any good stuff. Let's go on to the next one. Shadows do not get access to the additional items. Items from the Hilts Bender, including additional legendary crests each month. And that totally depends on the reign length. So generally, they're getting a legendary crest, an additional legendary crest each month, plus the other legendary crest that everybody gets each month. So, and it depends on their reign length, but they get an additional legendary crest per month from the Hilts Bender when they log in. So let's go on to number 6. Shadows get Shadows War, which is a fun activity where you compete against other clans to see who the best Shadows are. The best Shadows are that get to fight the Immortals. Great activity. But not worth it if you can just be an Immortal. So when you're competing with the other clans to see who the best Shadows are, it's pretty fun. And then you fight the Immortals, and then you have a chance of becoming an Immortal if you beat the other Shadows. Then you fight the Immortals, and if you beat the Immortals, you actually get to destroy them, and then you become the Immortals. So you take over the reign. And it's really fun. I really enjoyed being Shadow Wars. I think Shadow Wars is really, really fun. Let's go into number 7. Rites of Exile. Immortals receive a free legendary item for winning. So as an Immortal, once you do the Rites of Exile and you guys win, blah, 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 you get a free legendary item for winning the Shadow War, or the Rites of Exile War, which is basically the Shadow War, but it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, let's go into number 8. Shadows don't get access to cosmetic rewards. that immortals obtain. Clearly, no argument there. Yeah, there's just no argument there. I don't necessarily care about getting the cosmetics. They're cool, but once you do it, I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I don't like to be like everybody else. I like to have my own like cool cosmetics shine. But shadows don't get access to cosmetic rewards that immortals obtain. Clearly, there's no argument there. I don't under if you have an argument there that immortals obtain it, but it's not like they get it permanently. They only get it while they're an immortal. So when they get dethroned, they lose all the cosmetics that they received. So you don't get to keep the immortal cloak. You don't get to keep the immortal 2 cosmetic sets that you get. So I mean, it's really no arguments. Okay, the last one we're gonna go over is benefits from ending a reign. Number 1, let's go shadows and immortals alike gain access to a badge at most 8% more damage and 8% less damage taken. Only way to obtain this is end of reign. To be honest, the quicker we gain access to these buffs, the better it is for everyone. Okay, so generally what that means is once the end of reign, which we are in a game right now, if you see, it's the end of reign cycles end, you get this, where you get free legendary. You also get hilts, mats, gems, hilts, and you just get a ton of hilts and stuff. So generally, you also get a badge, which if you just click on your portrait, go here, go to Deeds of Valor, you also get this stuff. So life increase and damage increase, life increase and damage increase. And then your current cycle, you're also doing that. You're getting up to 3 badges. So you're getting life increase, which is 8% less damage taken, blah blah blah. And the only way to obtain this is at the end of reign. You get you gain access quicker to these buffs, and the more you guys get these buffs for everybody, the better. That's generally what I think. It's really nice for everybody to get that buff. I think that's a good thing. Let's go over PvP leaderboards. And rewards are distributed. This is nice because we gain reforged stones. Based on placement. Let's clarify that. It's based on placement. And it depends on your rank in the PvP leaderboard ends where you get reforged stones, but everybody normally gets reforged stones depending on what your rank is. It's also really good once the end of reign happens. The PvP leaderboards reset each end of reign. Recruitment to fill gaps in numbers of immortals to ensure you are getting the most out of the reign. Generally, what that means is like recruitment to fill in gaps is because once you become an immortal, you can also have 2 side clans. In the same server, you have to have 2 side clans. You can bring in 2 side clans that are not shadows because they have to be they have to not be shadows in order to get invited to those clans. So you can have 2 teammates of being an immortal. So you can have up to 3 clans as an immortal in one cycle, depending on what your clan leader thinks or whatever. That's what that means when recruitment to fill gaps in number of immortals to ensure you're getting most out of the raid. Allows more people to become immortals if they would like to be. And we just went over that basically. Natural progression of the game. So it's just a natural progression of the game. Pretty much, it's just the end of rain. You get a bunch of free stuff, and you get buffs. You get a daily buff every time as being a shadow or an immortal. You get a badge that increases your damage and your less damage taken. You get PvP leaderboards ends, and then the rewards are distributed with reforged stones based on placement. Recruitment to fill gaps in numbers of immortals to ensure you're getting most out of the rain. Allow more people to become immortals if they would like to be. And it's a natural progression of the game. But that's pretty much it, guys. I would have to say that immortals get a lot of a lot more stuff. Shadows kind of don't get hardly anything that the immortals get. So if you're an immortal, congratulations. I hope you guys enjoy that. But that's the end of today's video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.